Hello, I'm Ben, DivKid, and here's a video that's a bit different in that it's all about the rebranding of DPW Design. I was involved in this process, so I wanted to share and talk about it, and as we kind of collectively present this to you, let's first hear from Dan at DPW Design.
Hi, I'm Don. I'm proud to present the rebranded DPW Design modular range. This whole thing started with a discussion I had with Ben, who suggested that I should do a bigger change on the graphical side. So he pulled in our friend Matthew Shaw for the graphics. And I have to say that I'm really pleased with what Matt came up with. The legacy look of the modules has worked well over the last 9 years, but going forward with more densely packed modules, I needed an update.
I've been a fan of Dan's modules for a long time now, and it's been a pleasure to work with him creating demos of the DPW modules over the years. Links to those demos down below. And I think a large part of the DPW Eurorack range has been underrated. Dan's engineering has always really stood out to me, with a great ear for musicality and a high level and background that's brought in a lot of electronics design experience into these designs. And as a friend and colleague, if you like, what I've wanted is a visual identity that kind of better matches that high level of design that's behind the panel. And with that in mind, I wanted to bring in Matthew Shaw. And you might remember Matthew from the Modular podcast, from filming with me for many years at Superbooth, and for the last video we made at his studio on his musical release series called Totemic Topologies. Matthew has 35 years of experience in graphic design, art direction, corporate identity, and as luck would have it, is a modular user that's been using synths for a long time and has also worked with several modular brands and synthesizer brands that you probably already know. So I wanted to visit Matthew and go and talk to him about this rebrand. The new DPW rebrand is strong yet simple. What led to that style?
I wanted to come up with a design language that would actually push the design further into the background. And then this would lead to a more simplistic approach. Knowing that Dan's going to be bringing further products coming down the line, we needed to come up with a really tight visual language.
Starting with the logo, it's a striking departure from the old design. How did you arrive at the new logo?
After looking around the studio here, there's all manner of different kind of electrical knobs and connections and things, and I really liked using that as a springboard, as it were, to use as an inspirational source. And then I was just looking at one of the hex nuts on one of the devices here, and just looked at the angle of it and thought, oh, that's kind of like the diagonal on the W, as it were, for the DPW. So I started to kind of mess around and play around with those figures together, and then it just seemed to lock into shape. I really like the relationship between the W and the hexagon. So I just there were many other kind of iterations of this, but then I finally just arrived at that kind of locked-in position.
What constraints do you have to be aware of when you're working with a logo?
Well, in this particular case, I took the 2 HP module as my kind of baseline. It's almost like the designer's nemesis, if you like, from a modular perspective. And I thought, take that as the actual baseline. Will it work within 2 HP? If so, chances are it's going to work right across the entire kind of product line.
So beyond the logo, what was the approach to the panel graphics?
Well, I took a lot of inspiration from the actual language of the electronic world, as it were, and then schematics, particularly, you know, kind of flow of electricity, those kind of things. Not slavishly sticking to those actual icons, but just definitely the signal flow was a big inspiration from those.
Mechanical and industrial are the two kind of words that come to mind for me. I said, by coincidence or not, for some of your design background and also Dan's electronics background in communications and defence systems, there's a really lovely tie-in that kind of is the end result.
Yeah, and again, very simplistic, just showing the user the flow of what these actual modules do. That was a definite inspiration.
As a designer, how do you approach working with a physical medium like a module where you've got a panel and its own graphics, but things like pots, sockets and mechanical parts that you have to deal with?
It was important for this design, I thought, to come up with a grid. So the grid can help me as the designer place typography, the graphics, etc., any of the icons and things that I need to place on the module, but then also helps Dan as the engineer place the components behind the panel. So we're both sharing the same grid that should both then help us design each section that we need to focus on.
That's nice.
That's creepy horror piano thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But Mummy, I don't want to go into the cellar.
If you'd like to hear more from Matthew and about design and its relationship within, say, the synthesizer world, feel free to leave comments and suggestions. Maybe in the future Matthew and I could sit and have a longer form discussion about it. I'm excited to continue using this existing range of DPW modules and for what's to come in the future. And on that note, here's Dan to tell us what's to come.
I'm working on a few designs at the moment, fun stuff. And I'm excited to say that one of them is actually a collaboration with you, Ben.
Indeed, Dan and I are working on a collaboration module and treat that as a little bonus teaser for anyone that watches these videos all the way to the end. If you've got questions for any of us, kind of on or off topic, do just leave a comment and we'll try and get back to you. Thanks for watching. I hope you've liked this slightly different video. It's been a pleasure to make it and share this process, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. So what was your approach to the rebranding for DPW?
Don't know. Couldn't resist. Stop being an idiot. I can't believe I said that with a friend.
Don't know. I just go, I'm not telling you.
Yeah.
I really like that.
My mum says I shouldn't tell you.
Yeah.